Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up. So as I said, these are all the books that I have read over the month of April, and so I'm going to go through talking about my feelings on them. I have quite some feelings on these books. They were good, and I'm excited to dive into it and talk to you guys about them. I'm going to start the wrap-up with Saga Volume 9. Whoa, that's what I have to say. I am super glad they're making more to this series because if this was what I was left with when they finished, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how I would feel about it. So, yeah, needless to say, this book has quite a big ending and lots of things happen in this one. So, there is a lot to there's a lot to go through. I strongly recommend this series to anybody that likes sci-fi or just like, I guess, forbidden love. Is that what it would? Yeah, I guess it falls under that category. But like, this is such a good series, and there's so many like found family characters in it too. It's a really good series. I have no bad things to say about this. So definitely check out the series if you get a chance because they're making more. So yes, I'm very excited for that. And I'm obviously giving this 5 out of 5 stars, like hands down. Such a good series. Next up, I have a book called Vermin. So this was actually sent to me by the author Arden, and I will be giving this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It was about a boy who was found on the side of the road and taken in by this family, and so they brought him in and were trying to like nurse him back to health because they noticed that he was sick. The family also had children in their family that were sick with this same illness previous to this incident, and so they brought him in and decided to nurse him back to health. They find out in that time though that he is a vermin, which essentially is kind of like a werewolf, except there's no like uncontrollable changing. They just have like wolf-like traits. And so, yeah, the whole story was following the Vermin, which is the main character. I believe his name was Nick, and the other character Rose, which was the daughter of the family that was previously sick. So it was like her helping nurse him back to health, but also interacting with him. And then her father, I believe, was studying Nick to learn more about Vermin. And yeah, it was a decent read. There was a lot of build up between the two main characters, having that relationship as kids and like just learning to kind of like treat each other with respect and stuff like that, because vermin are not by humans like very respected. So it was an interesting start. This is a series, and the ending definitely opens it up for more books in the series. So a lot of it was like build up. There wasn't that big of like an ending or anything because of that. I think they're building it into more of the series and to have more, I guess, action to the plot when it keeps going. So yeah, this was definitely like a starter book, and that's why it was kind of like at a 3 for me, because I'm very much like one of those people that likes a fast plot. So yeah, but I did enjoy it. I had a good time with it, and so yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read The Beauty of the Fall, and this was the book that I pulled from my TBR jar, so this is one of my blog books. I would give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I actually did really enjoy this book. It read really quickly for me, and I absorbed it and just stayed with the plot. So this is following a tech CEO and his life after he loses his son. So it's him dealing with a lot of grief, but he also is working on starting a new tech company with this idea that he has, and working with other people to make this tech company work, also working on himself and his life and his relationships. And so it's kind of like a deep dive into his life and all the struggles that he has to go through and all the things that he has to overcome. And there's a lot of different things in this book that could trigger some people, so be wary going into it if you do decide to read this book. But I think that it was really well written, and I enjoyed like following along with all these like revelations the character had. And yeah, I just think the way it was written was really nice. It flowed very well, and I definitely found myself like wanting to keep reading this book. But there wasn't like too many like high intensity things happening, but there was also like a lot of like things happening in the plot line in the background that like come into play later, and so it was definitely fleshed out very well. But yeah, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Then I read Skin of the Sea, and so this was my Once Upon a Book Club book box. So I did a reading vlog for this. If you guys want to check that out, I'll just link it. So yeah, this one was good. I did enjoy this one. It has to do with mermaid folklore, and it dealt with like a lot of the other like sea gods, and not just sea gods, like other gods. And it was really cool. I had a fun time with this. There was a lot of like tension between the main character and some other characters that come into play. And so that was fun. I enjoyed that. And yeah, there was also a cinnamon roll character in this book that I was just like, oh my God, my heart. They're so cute. And so I really enjoyed reading about them too. And this is the first book. There's more books coming out, which makes me so excited. Actually, I believe the second book is already out for this, but I did really enjoy this one. And I would look forward to reading more from this series. Yeah, I've discovered that I do like mermaid books. It also was very like cool to read this one while doing the book box experience, because with the items coming as like different like page gifts, it's fun because it makes you feel like you're like a part of the story a little bit. So that's also like a little fun thing to go with it. But yeah, I did really enjoy this one, and I had a fun time with it, and I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read a book called Lifecast, and so this one was really cool. It was set kind of like in a dystopian world in the future where like everybody is like the rich people, I guess is what you would call them, live up above the mist. So they like live in upper cities, and then the people that are like in the poverty level live below. But like a lot of these people work for the upper people, and so it was really interesting because it was based on this thing called Lifecast, where there's one character called the Idol, and everybody kind of like idolizes the idol, and this idol will like push different promotions and advertise for different sponsors for different products that everybody would immediately grab because they want to be like the idol. And so this story follows a valet, which is kind of like a butler of a family, I guess is how you would put it, and one of the idol nominees, which her name is Alex. And so it's following their story of the two of them because they kind of have like a forbidden love. And so it's following them kind of navigating this world that is kind of setting it up for them not to be together because they're not supposed to be. Yeah, I was kind of blown away with this story. Like it was really fun, and it gave me different vibes of like pulling from different books. It was really cool. Like I had some like Ready Player One aspects to it, because a lot of people, they have these things where they can make themselves completely look like something else, and then like switch it off and it'll go back to their regular person. So it kind of like is like holograms around them. And then when it gets to like the politicalness of it, I was getting like little bits of like Red Rising. So that definitely like made me really like the book. I had a lot of fun with it, and I definitely want to read more. Like I hope this isn't just a standalone. The way it ended leaves it open to more in a book series, and I would 100% read more of this series. It was really cool. And so I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Then next up, a 5 out of 5 stars. Aurora's End. So this was the book I was technically supposed to read the month before, but I read it this month, and oh my God, this was so freaking good. I I was lost for words at the end of it. The path that this book took was so cool. I was invested in this storyline 100%. I did not want to put this book down. It was such an intense book. And yeah, like I just, because at the end of the second one, like I said, all of the characters were kind of like in a position where you're like, I don't know what's happening with anybody. I don't know who's safe, who's not. And then it just dives right into the plot in this one, and it was so amazing. I can't even really say anything about it because this is the last book in a trilogy. But in the first book in the series, there is this girl that's discovered on a spaceship by Tyler, who is the main character of his like little team of misfits. And so this girl gets brought into their little team of misfits, and they become like a spaceflight team. And it's such like found family vibes. And so they work together and go and do different like missions for the academy, and then the plot goes from there. But it was just, yeah. If you have a chance to read this series, I strongly recommend it because it is such a fun time, and the characters grow on you, and you just feel for, honestly, like I had a pretty much like a good feeling about each of the characters in their little found family. And the cool thing about it is that it splits up all the chapters for different perspectives of their group. So you get to see so many different perspectives of what's going on and what they're like going through. And this book also has another badass character that comes into play later on, and I just love them. They are so awesome. If you guys have read the series, I feel like you'll know who I'm talking about. But yeah, such a good one. And the last book I read was Superpowers. And so this is year 1. And so this is following not necessarily superheroes. They're kids with powers. In this sense, they're called powereds. And when you're a powered, you can't control your abilities. When you're supers, you can control your abilities. And so 5 students are powereds, and they're put in this program to go into this superhero school to learn how to control their powers and become superheroes. And so this is their entire first year of this like superhero college. This book was a chunker, and also there's like a ripple in it because sadly I spilled beer on one of the pages when I was reading this outside. So that made me really sad. But this is a book that was given to me by my friend Jordan, and he recommended this. And so I finally got to it thanks to Marcus, because Marcus chose it for my TBR. And so I'm really glad I did get to it. I honestly gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It was such a fun time. I really enjoyed following along with the different characters and their perspectives and learning about their very unique powers, because that is like another thing, is their powers were very unique and they had different like little quirks to them. So that was really cool. I also really enjoyed the like school aspect of it and them like kind of learning different things about themselves and the different characters. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I actually have well, you can't see it, but well, maybe you can. It's right over here. I have year 2 of this, so I can jump into another book and continue learning about different characters and what they go through in their second year of superhero college. So that's awesome. I'm glad I did finally get to this book too, because this was like a 700-page chunker, so I can knock that off the TBR, which is awesome. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. And those are all the books that I read in the month of April. So yeah, I managed to complete quite a bit of them, which was very exciting because normally I don't complete that many books, but I did. So that was fun. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read any of these books before, because I would love to hear your thoughts on them. And let me know what your favorite book was of April. I always want to know what everybody like had as their highest rating for the month. So definitely tell me in the comments down below. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as links by my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.